The 2019 Austrian Grand Prix is one of the best races in recent Formula One history. So in this video, I'm gonna go and revisit and overanalyze some of the best moments of the Grand Prix. And the reason why I'm making this video is because there is nothing to talk about this week in F1. There is no race. Mohammed bin Salem did not fire anybody, so there's nothing to talk about. And we will start the race by talking about Ferrari, and obviously eventually we'll talk about one of the greatest Max Verstappen drives in the Lewis Hamilton era. But we will start by talking about Ferrari because they could have had a double podium. Sebastian Vettel started P9 and Charles Leclerc started on pole position. But right after the first lap, as we will see, the video is already muted because I don't want to be copyright striked. So let's see how amazing of a start Sebastian Vettel had. Goes in between the Red Bull of Pierre Gasly and Giovinazzi. Then goes around the outside of Max Verstappen, which is easy because he had a shit start. And then he also tries to go around the outside of Kimi Raikkonen, but Kimi is too good for that. And Sebastian Vettel makes up 3 places right at the start of the race. After that, Sebastian Vettel overtakes Lando Norris for P5 into turn 3, pushes Norris as wide as possible, as deep into the corner as possible, slam dunk, made the move, Norris's DRS, but it doesn't matter because it is 2019 and this was the season in which Ferrari did something to their engine, if you remember, and then they were later fined and the FIA kind of managed the whole situation behind the doors. So with an illegal engine, he managed to defend against Lando Norris, who had DRS. Sebastian Vettel is P4. The 2 Mercedes ahead of them, they're shit around Red Bull Ring, so that's not even a threat. And Charles Leclerc is comfortably leading ahead in the race. It is very possible that Ferrari could have had a 1 and 3 or even better, a 1 and 2. At least a 1 and 3 was definitely on the board. So let's look at how Ferrari managed to fuck it all up. On lap 22, Sebastian Vettel gets into the pits. That's Sebastian Vettel right here. Valtteri Bottas is about to be released. And he is released. Sebastian Vettel is in. They removed the tire, but the new tires are not ready. This guy just got here. And now Sebastian loses at least 3.5 seconds while pitting for Ferrari. This is a common occurrence when your race is going good, the car has pace, and you're making overtakes. Somehow Ferrari manages to fuck it all up. It's like having an autoimmune disorder. It's when your own immunity system attacks your own body and kills it. So that's exactly what just happened, and that's what fucked Sebastian Vettel, and that also prevented Ferrari from potentially securing a 1 and 3, a double podiums finish. Another terrible thing Ferrari did was to pit Charles Leclerc right after that to cover against Valtteri Bottas. These guys will never understand that Mercedes struggle in the Austrian Grand Prix because the track does not suit their car. They always have overheating issues. But regardless of that, they decided to cover Bottas, and because of which Leclerc had to do an extremely long second stint, which prevented him from defending effectively against Max Verstappen towards the end of the race. We'll take a look at the move in a while, but that's basically why Ferrari did not win the Austrian Grand Prix, let alone have a double podiums finish. Now, before we look at Max Verstappen's charge through the field, let's take an interesting look at his teammate at the time, Pierre Gasly. So Pierre Gasly, as you know, has DRS on Kimi Raikkonen's Alfa Romeo Sauber. He is very close, couldn't brake late enough, and couldn't make the move. Kimi Raikkonen is still ahead. Helmut Marko and Christian Horner are looking at this, and this is the moment that decided that, you know what, we gotta drop the French guy. So finally, we get to the main hero. Max Verstappen has a terrible start. As you can see, it's kind of like an anti-stall, but we'll never know because I don't know shit about technology. So, and you can see people are passing him left, right, and center, and this actually set it up for us to have a great Grand Prix. Christian Horner, this is the face he makes whenever he sends a dick pic and they don't respond. And, Adrian Newey is actually genuinely disappointed. So this is what has happened. Max Verstappen, terrible start. Right here you can see him behind Sebastian Vettel with DRS. But right now it's time to look at some of the best Max Verstappen overtakes in the Red Bull ring in Lewis Hamilton era. The first victim of Max Verstappen is Lando Norris, and as you can see, Verstappen crossed the DRS detection line after Norris, which gave him DRS for the next straight. And the car control is amazing because he hits the apex perfectly, and now he has DRS. There is no chance for Lando Norris whatsoever. Covers the inside line for good measure and forces Lando to go around the outside. I mean, Lando's overtaking skills are already sketchy, so he was never going past Max Verstappen. The next victim is Kimi Raikkonen, and he doesn't even fight it. He just lets Max go. He knows the consequence of fighting against the Dutchman, and the Dutch crowd loves it. I would have loved it too. The next battle of Max Verstappen was Sebastian Vettel, and this took him a little while. So Verstappen comes in attacking Sebastian. Sebastian covers the inside line, parks the car perfectly. Verstappen locks up a little bit. You can see a little bit of smoke. And then Sebastian, because the Ferrari has good straight line speed, remember guys, it's 2019. They had an illegal engine that year, and he just places the Ferrari perfectly so that Verstappen has no chance to make the overtake stick, and he is still ahead. He has to now wait for another lap. The second attempt to overtake Sebastian Vettel is right here. And again, Max Verstappen gets a good run down to him. Just take a look at it. Verstappen squeezes himself against the apex to try to be side by side against Sebastian Vettel, but this actually compromises his exit slightly, just a little bit, enough to give Sebastian a little bit of breathing space. And again, it's 2019, Ferrari engine, slightly illegal, but it doesn't really matter because they have all the money in the world. Sebastian covers the inside, forces Verstappen to go around the outside, squeezes him a little bit, places the car beautifully because Verstappen wanted to, do the switchback. He wanted Sebastian to go a little bit deep so that he could have done the switchback, but Sebastian is too smart to fall for it. Covers the apex perfectly. There is literally no chance for Max Verstappen to make this move. The third time is the charm, and this time Max Verstappen finds a way past Sebastian Vettel, and Seb, all the credit to him, he does everything he's supposed to, parks the car in the middle of the corner, gets a good exit, but Max Verstappen, he had the extra grip, and this time there's literally no chance. He was side by side him almost at the corner, and before the next corner comes, turn 4, he has been through Sebastian Vettel, and the crowd goes wild. What a great fucking move this one is. Vettel had a little bit of chance. He could have made things a little bit difficult by parking the car right in the middle of the corner to, prevent Max Verstappen right here. In turn 3, he could have taken a tighter line to prevent Max Verstappen from getting this amazing run, because right now there's a gap. And if there's a gap, Verstappen is going to go through it. He needs to shift his car a little bit towards here and then do what Verstappen does in the exit. Like you take a sharper entry, a close entry into the apex, and then run a little bit wide. Because in that situation, if you're very close to the apex, your opponent will try to go around the outside. And there you need to do what Max Verstappen does when you try to overtake him around the outside. We will see this in the race against Charles Leclerc. And that's exactly what Seb should have done. But obviously, with Ferrari, everything with Ferrari, things are just good in the hindsight. The next victim of Max Verstappen was Valtteri Bottas. And this, when I watched this again, this is probably the 7th time I watched this in the last 24 hours. This reminded me why Valtteri Bottas never really challenged Lewis Hamilton for a world title. Because he doesn't even have a fight in him. At least cover the inside line. At least, make it difficult for Max Verstappen. He has no fight in him. And I'm very happy that he was replaced by George Russell at the end of his contract, because this was fucking deplorable. And this is not just one moment. There are several moments in which he just opens the door and lets people go past. Now, the real battle begins for the lead of the race between Verstappen and Leclerc. And we will see some fantastic defending and some aggressive overtaking. Right? So Leclerc does the same thing that I just talked about a few seconds ago. He parked the car in the middle of the apex, right here, to prevent Verstappen from getting that amazing run that he got Sebastian Vettel with. So he prevented Max Verstappen from getting a good run, and Ferrari's straight line speed because they have an illegal engine. They're putting in way more fuel compared to the others. And this allows Leclerc to just stay outside. And here there's just no chance in the technical part of the track to overtake. All you can do is follow. Phenomenal defensive move by Charles. The second overtake attempt by Max Verstappen on Charles Leclerc was a bit more effective. So Leclerc goes in, and this time he leaves the inside door open, allows Verstappen to take the apex first, but Verstappen slows down a little bit too much, and this allows Charles Leclerc to get the run on him. And despite having DRS here, Max Verstappen, he is unable to fight against Charles Leclerc despite being momentarily ahead a few milliseconds ago. So here Verstappen was slightly ahead, but Leclerc had a good run. And obviously Ferrari power 2019. I've been saying this a lot in this video, but that's the truth. And that's why it's an amazing comeback drive, cojones of steel. But credit to Leclerc and also credit to Max Verstappen for not making this one ugly. And the third time, Max Verstappen does get around the inside. He has the apex, and this is exactly a classic Max Verstappen overtaking move because, wait, I went a little bit ahead. So what happens is, if you let Max Verstappen get to the apex first, there is no way you are going to be able to fight him or be wheel to wheel with him, because he's not going to turn. He's not going to give you the room. Obviously, I mean, he is entitled to the corner right now because Leclerc, unlike the first defensive attempt, left the inside door entirely open, welcomed Verstappen, and that's exactly what you get when you welcome Verstappen into the inside line. But earlier, Charles Leclerc, let me see if I can find that quickly. So this particular move here, Leclerc parked the car perfectly in the apex of the corner right here. As you can see, he covers the inside line and he takes the apex perfectly. And this prevents Verstappen from getting any kind of run on him, down to turn 4. But in this attempt, Charles just forgets to close the inside line. As you can see, this is the third attempt of Max Verstappen to get past Charles Leclerc. And again, as you can see, he's just nowhere near the apex. You should cover the apex if Verstappen is behind you. And if you let Verstappen get the apex, then he's going to push you wide. The Dutch crowd goes wild. And that is like the entirety of the race. Sebastian Vettel could have finished on the podium if it was not for Ferrari's fucked up pit stop, sorry. And Leclerc did not need to cover Valtteri Bottas because Bottas is like 15 seconds behind, so he's definitely not a threat. He could have passed him on track. And all the credit goes to Max Verstappen and Red Bull for, building a mammoth of a car. And Max Verstappen is a motherfucker in that car. Regardless of where he starts, there is a chance that this guy is gonna win. So that's my breakdown. That's all of the essential moments of the 2019 Austrian Grand Prix. Hopefully this year's Austrian Grand Prix will have something fun. I want to see a battle between Max Verstappen and Oscar Piastri for the lead of the race. I think that will spice things up. So we will see what happens. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.